It's your boy Ty back here with another video. And in this video today, guys, we're going to be going over and briefly talking about the Clutch Time Online reward, Galaxy Opal Kevin Love, and NBA 2K24 MyTEAM, and whether he is worth you guys grinding for or not in my team. Now, there's been a lot of bad things this season, a lot of things that I personally would never stand up for. You know, the gambling is horrible. There's a lot of bad things going on. The one thing I can't hate on too much is we've seen a lot of solid rewards in the agendas or for specific game modes. You know, MPJ was solid. Tyson Chandler, absolutely elite. K-Love, I think is going to be solid. Manu, I'm close to him. Think's gonna be solid. You know, they've really ramped things up once they did turn to Galaxy Opals. We saw a bunch of bad pink diamonds, but again, once they turned to Galaxy Opals, they have certainly got quite a bit better. So, Kevin Love, you've got to win 50 Clutch Time Online games for. That's a lot of games. There's no way to sugarcoat it, guys. That is a lot of games of Clutch Time Online. You know, let's say if I played 50 games without losing a game, you're looking at probably 6 hours. I mean, again, to get 50 wins in Clutch Time Offline, you're probably, again, if you don't lose, looking at 6 hours. You win 50% of your games, you're probably looking at 12 hours for Kevin Love. That's a long grind. That's a long grind. Especially, you know, when you look at Manu, everybody's going to win basically every triple threat offline game. You're looking at 6 hours for Manu Ginobili. Now, I get it. Some people like playing offline. Some people like playing online. And that's what I'd really encourage you guys to think about when it comes down to these rewards and even playing the game modes. Let's say for, you know, Chris Middleton, MosBallin. What game modes are you going to enjoy playing more? Like Unlimited, I personally enjoy playing way more than like Clutch Time Offline. So that's where I'm at. Like with Clutch Time Offline, I would never, ever, ever try to like grind whatever reward it is unless they were literally the best player in the game. But like Manu Ginobili, for example, not that many people hate triple threat offline that badly. So if Manu is, let's say, a top 5 shooting guard in the game, especially if you're nobody spent balling on a budget, he might be worth your time. You know, for example, a guy like Kevin Love, I think he's really good. Do I think Tyson Chandler is still probably going to be better? Probably, just because of defensive purposes. But Kevin Love is still fantastic. Whereas if you don't have like Giannis, if you don't have, let's say you don't have Tyson Chandler, he could still be worth your time. Meanwhile, when you do get the 50 wins in Clutch Time Clutch Time Online, you're going to get some MT. You're going to get some tokens along the way to make it more rewarding. And you're going to get Chris Middleton. Now, I've already got one Chris Middleton. So then the question becomes is, okay, Ty, so what are you going to do with the next Chris Middleton? And the only thing you really can do, I do believe, is exchange it for a super pack. Unless, I mean, you might, I'm guessing that's probably the best thing, honestly, to do, to exchange it for a season super pack. But, I mean, that's probably the best thing to do with it and see what obviously happens. Obviously, that's not ideal. You don't want to have to, you know, exchange it and basically make it worthless. But along the way, you're going to make some MT, you're going to get some things. So, for me personally, do I think Manu's more worth it or do I think K-Love's more worth it? Well, it's nearly impossible for me to tell. One thing about K-Love, he's going to be super undersized for that power forward position, so that's definitely concerning. I do like his release on very quick. I like his leaner. It just comes down to, do the pros outweigh the cons? I don't know. It's hard for me to really tell, but I do think he's going to be in that same type of category as Manu, as being a really good guy for free that you can get. And even compared to, like, let's compare him to like the James Worthy. Do I think James Worthy is better than Kevin Love? Absolutely. And if you want to compare the grinds, James Worthy is probably a shorter grind than Kevin Love for the average person. And so it's hard for me to sit up here and say Kevin Love is for sure worth you grinding for. But for some people, I think it is. You know, you hop into Clutch Time Online, you get a few wins, and before you know it, you'll be, you know, well on your way towards Kevin Love. So it just comes down to what you personally want to prioritize. Even for me, I'm going to prioritize probably getting Manu Ginobili before Kevin Love. But it gives you a reason to play the game. And I think that's important to note is we've needed reasons to play the game for kind of a long time, and this is a big step up. I still think these cards could be slightly better, and I'm not saying like they could have made Kevin Love or Manu that much more. I'm saying give us better overall cards like even like a Tyson Chandler. He's 7 feet tall, one of the best defensive players in the game. Good release. That's a good player card to give us and boost his stats as much as you want. But that's where it all starts. But I do think, you know, we're on our way. And in the mode rewards being good, the rush that's good. There's only one piece to the puzzle that's really missing, and that's the gambling in packs that has just gotten so out of control that we need to be a part of the change. But that's what I'd encourage you guys. On Fridays, stop worrying so much about, oh, what is coming in packs. Worry more, okay, let's get our ring this weekend. If you want to play that. If you don't, whatever. It is totally fine. And then see what the new mode reward is. Obviously, it's Clutch Time Online today. But what is coming next week? Well, next week, we're going to get a new Triple Threat Online reward. And while I'm in this video, if you're close to getting Tyson Chandler, I'd do it. Tyson Chandler is still one of the best power forwards in the game. He's still in my lineup right now. So that's just another thing that I personally would recommend for you guys is finishing out that grind. Kevin Love available for basically a month and a half. So, I mean, obviously, as time goes on, he's going to become less valuable. But I think he is a guy that if you are no money spent, and Clutch Time Online is one of your favorite modes to play, that is 100% taking the time to go and get. Again, there's no rush. He's probably going to be a good power forward for the foreseeable future, especially if 2K does stick with this gambling-only content. And again, 50 wins, it's a lot of wins, though. I mean, that's probably the longest grind in here because Clutch Time Offline is only 50 wins too. Co-op is 50 wins. Triple Threat Online is 50 wins. I do think Clutch Time is probably maybe up there with Unlimited as being the longest overall grinds. And so, yeah, is Manu more worth it? I would say Manu's probably more worth it, especially if you've already kind of started the grind. But Kevin Love is a good piece to the puzzle as well. I'm glad to see these cards actually being solid. Sure, I wish Kevin Love was a little bit taller, but I still think he can play in some lineups. Is the guy I'm going to grind for? Probably not, to be honest with you, on either account. Just because, I mean, again, I don't even know if he's better than Tyson Chandler. And so that's where I'm like, you know what, guys, you got a week left. Just go get Tyson Chandler instead, especially if you have already started on that. But Kevin Love, still a really solid card that is not totally worthless, totally horrible. It's just kind of sad. 2K could have given us a free Kevin Love for Valentine's Day and a locker code. Instead, they just decided to put him in Clutch Time Online, which, whatever, it is what it is. But I'm just saying, like, they literally could have, they could have made him something fun for Valentine's Day, and they totally missed out on that. But it is what it is. Still a really solid card in Clutch Time Online, where if you're good at the game, there are much worse things that you can do because you're going to get rewarded with MT, some other stuff as you do go up the ranks as well. That's going to wrap it up for our video on the new Galaxy Opal Kevin Love in my team. Let me know your thoughts on it down below in the comments. Drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're new. As always, man, I love you guys. Have a blessed day.